tonight with a matchup against the LA Clippers. Hard to believe it has been a week since easily the Kings' best regular season win in franchise history. They look to make it 5 straight since the All-Star break. I'm Ryan in Sactown. This is the Kings pregame show on If You Don't Like That. Howdy. What is going on? Sea-Dog, what's up, my man? Welcome to the Kings pregame show. Happy to have you here with us tonight. We're going to lead you up until tip-off. The Kings returning home, like I said, really excited with what's going on right now in a really wild Western Conference. Some of the teams that you would expect to be playing really well right now just aren't. And some of the teams that you don't want to see playing well are starting to get it together, like the Golden State Warriors. Anyways, getting back to the game tonight, the Kings, this is a rematch from last Friday night. Who can forget last Friday night? Absolutely one of the most memorable games, easily in Kings history. I'm pretty sure that all of you will remember where you were at when that game happened. I know that I will. But anyways, don't expect anything like that tonight. I highly doubt we're going to see a 176-175 game. The Clippers are coming off a loss last night to Golden State, a loss in which Kawhi Leonard said that he was not going to play tonight in the locker room right after the game. Real interesting. We can kind of get into that and your thoughts on load management if you want. Kings rested, have not played since their win in Oklahoma City. De'Aaron Fox, by all accounts, is good to go tonight. He is available. The only player that the Kings will be missing tonight is Richaun Holmes. He's out with a non-COVID-19 injury. So the Kings are at full strength. The Clippers are going to be missing some other players as well, some starters. Marcus Morris Sr. will not be playing. Norman Powell off the bench will not be playing. A couple others. So this is the kind of game, not sure about you guys, it kind of scares me a little bit, right? For the Kings, one, they have not started well at home this season. That's the first thing. The second is when they've had a couple of days off, sometimes they just don't play particularly well, especially if a team is missing one of their stars, two of their stars. We saw that in the Portland game, which was to be expected because the Kings were coming off the All-Star break. But this could be a little bit of a closer game than some people are making it out to be. So I see you guys all in the chat. Thank you so much again for joining the stream. Grant and I are actually going to be on like we normally are at halftime and on the post-game show as well. So we'll be breaking it down for you, and hopefully you can join us. That beautiful t-shirt right over my left shoulder, you can find that coming up on Grant's website very soon. We have taken pre-orders through email, but we are just about this close to putting that live link on Grant's website. If you don't like that.com, you can go there and you can purchase your t-shirt directly, and we will get those out to you. So let me know what everybody's doing for the game tonight. It's a Friday night. Everybody should be really excited. I'm thinking Golden One is going to be rocking tonight. Golden One is going to be full of momentum, and it's going to be a playoff atmosphere. The Kings better get used to that because this pretty much is the playoffs starting right now. It started ever since the second half of the season begun, or right after the All-Star break, to be fair. So what's everybody think about Mike Brown, the Western Conference Coach of the Month, or NBA Coach of the Month, excuse me. First time somebody has been named Coach of the Month in Sacramento since Rick Adelman. That's been a long time. That has been a really long time. So certainly brings up some really, really good memories and gives you an idea of where this team may be headed and what to look forward to. And, Mike has absolutely gotten control of this locker room and very much earned the respect of the players that are playing for him. So let's see. We got Mike Brown is a breath of fresh air. Yeah, he is. Think about the coaching carousel that Sacramento has been on. We've had Luke Walton, we've had Reggie Theus, we've had too many to name. Mike Malone, great coach for Sacramento, in my opinion. Just did not work out, unfortunately. But we haven't had stability in that department, and we certainly have that stability now. And let's not talk about defense. I know that the Kings really wanted to focus on the defensive end of basketball, but Mike, has realized this is an offensive team, and so they are going full steam ahead, focusing on the offense and making sure that they do what they can on defense, play to their players' strengths, but they know games aren't going to be won on that end of the floor. Games are certainly going to be won on the offensive end. So, anyways, I see everybody out there. So many good messages. I will get to those as soon as I can. So thank you so much for tuning in. So the Kings kick off what's a little bit of a homestand. They've got a back-to-back. So tonight's the first of two. Tomorrow night, Minnesota is going to be coming in. And then they're going to have the Pelicans on Monday night. There's some really interesting matchups going on in the NBA tonight, specifically in the Western Conference, that I think we should really keep our eyes on. Like I mentioned earlier, Golden State is playing very, very good basketball right now. Golden State has won 7 of 10 on their home court, and Steph Curry is still out. Steph Curry may return in the coming games, which is certainly good news for the Golden State Warriors. But there's also Denver playing tonight. Denver's got a big game. So we'll run down the scoreboard. The Trailblazers are playing right now against the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks got the lead in that one, 118-101. The Nets and the Celtics are playing, and the Nets are up 92-86. We've got the Knicks and the Heat. The Knicks are playing extremely good basketball right now. The Knicks are up 82-71. Very interesting matchup here. Suns and the Bulls. Suns lead right now 83-76. Trying to keep a close eye on what the Suns do, how Kevin Durant integrates into their offense and their team. Kevin played really well in his first game out for the Suns. We've got the Jazz and the Thunder. That's one that we certainly want to keep an eye on as well. The Jazz are losing to the Thunder 90-73 right now. The Hornets have lost to the Magic 117-108. And still to come, big game. Like I said, the Grizzlies are in Denver tonight. Want to see what happens to that. The Kings are only a couple of games behind Memphis for that 2 seed. So that's going to be a big game that everybody's paying attention to. Pelicans and Warriors, like we said, Clippers, Kings, what we're all here for, and Timberwolves and Lakers. So a full slate of NBA games tonight. So with some guys out for the Clippers, it's going to bring up a good, in my opinion, opportunity for Domantas Sabonis to really shine on the offensive end tonight. He played great. Obviously, there was some bad calls and some foul trouble when they played the Clippers the first time around, or the second time around in LA, in the game that we will never forget. And I want to see him play a full game against a Clippers team that's undermanned tonight. And I want to see them really run the offense, speaking of the Kings, through Sabonis for the most part this evening. We know that when they run the offense through Sabonis, it opens things up for everybody else. Yes, I am with you. Hopefully the Nuggets do win tonight. We want to see what's going on with Memphis. What's everybody's opinion with the Grizzlies right now? Something seems to be off with that team. Lots of stories surrounding Ja Morant, if you've not heard. And, just something feels right. Dylan Brooks walking into the arena the other night, and I don't even know what that was called. But what I'm saying is, where there's smoke, there's fire. So keep an eye on what the Grizzlies are doing. We got a prediction here, triple-double for Sabonis. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you tuning in to the pregame show, first pregame show for you. Appreciate it. We're going to keep doing these all the time or as much as we can. I know the boss is watching, so I really appreciate him letting me come on and spend a few minutes with you guys before tip off here at Golden One tonight. We've got a few comments about Keegan and what Keegan has been doing, how he's looking right now. Keegan's really finding his way, in my opinion. He is doing things that he was not doing earlier in the season, and he's really built himself into that starting role, that guy that we know we can rely on. He's doing more on the offensive glass. He's being more aggressive, taking it to the hole. And those are all things that he needs to continue doing, certainly throughout the season. De'Aaron, what's De'Aaron going to do tonight? Is De'Aaron going to be De'Aaron? Are we going to see any residual from the sore wrist or the left wrist soreness that kept him out? I don't expect to see anything really. They actually did a precautionary MRI after he sat back and sat out against the Thunder, and they got back to Sacramento, and nothing was really seen on that, according to the Sacramento Bee. So I think De'Aaron is going to be just all right. But this Kings team, they go as well as De'Aaron and Sabonis go. And this team's rolling right now. This team is starting to get a ton of attention nationally, which is good and bad. We want to fly under the radar to a degree like the Kings have all season, but the Kings do deserve respect. And it's cool for Kings fans for the first time in 16 years to see a team that we know, or short of a catastrophic issue, see a team that is going to make the playoffs for the first time in 16 years. So super excited about that. All right, checking out the comments. Kevin Huerter. Yeah, Kevin. Think he's going to have a career shooting game? I hope so. I really hope so. Kevin has been struggling. What I did like against the Thunder was the fact that Kevin found a way to still contribute to the offense. He had 9 assists and he did what he could, even though that shot was not falling. I think that Kevin has to be able to get going within the offense. And that's partly on the coaching staff, drawing up plays for him and getting him ready to go. Yeah, he has been a bit sloppy. There's no doubt about that. But he has still been, and you'll notice he has had his minutes reduced. And so that might light a little bit of a fire under him. Monk has gotten a little bit more of those minutes because Monk has been playing very well. But the coaching staff needs to just get some stuff drawn up for Kevin. Kevin, to his credit, has been passing the ball fairly well with the 2-man game with Sabonis. And then also he's been finding ways to be a little bit crafty on defense. But we'll see what happens tonight. It would be great to see him break out indeed. The yips. You think the yips is something in the NBA? The yips is definitely something in golf. But yeah, no, the yips is something in the NBA. Definitely at the free throw line. I don't know if he has I would disagree that he has the yips when he's coming off of a screen. He doesn't seem to be hesitating. That's what I look for in a shooter that's struggling. If a shooter that's struggling is pump faking, thinking about it before they put the 3-ball up, that's when I start to worry. He's still been coming off the screens and firing away. So we'll look for that, and hopefully it doesn't start. Funny that you ask. That's a pretty good place. Bennett's. That's one of our favorite places. There's no doubt about that. And in fact, Bennett's is one of the sponsors of the pregame show, halftime show, and post-game show. Bennett's locations in Roseville, Sacramento, soon to come location in Rockland on the Blue Oaks Town Center. You can't go wrong with Bennett's. Brian is a huge Sacramento Kings fan and also a huge supporter of this show. They have wonderful steaks, prime cuts of steaks. I love the hanger steak. I know Grant loves the bone-in ribeye. Seafood's amazing. If you've never had the redfish and spinach, go give that a try. They've got an awesome, awesome brunch as well. Go check out Bennett's for all of your dining needs. We promise you will not leave disappointed. And huge thanks to Bennett's for sponsoring the show tonight. All right, as we get a little bit closer to tip-off, let's go ahead and kind of look at the Western Conference and see where we stand and see where things stand. Nothing's really changed at the top. The Nuggets have, in my opinion, solidified that first spot in the West. I think that's going to be theirs, and nobody's going to be catching up to them. Then they're followed by the Grizzlies tonight. Those two teams face off, like we said. The Grizzlies, we got to see what's going to happen with them. We're going to see if anything comes of this Ja Morant stuff, and new details continue to come out about things off the court. And so see if that could be a distraction for them. See if it's not. We'll see what happens. Third year Sacramento Kings. Kings have been playing great basketball, arguably the best basketball, best stretch of the season. And it's funny with the win. I go back to the win in Los Angeles last Friday night. And since that win, the Clippers are 0-4. And it makes you wonder when you think about a game like that, that's that emotionally high and you expend so much energy and both teams play so great. I mean, the Clippers shot over 50% from the field, or I think 60% from the field, over 50% from the 3-point line. You lose. That could also send a team into a little bit of a tailspin. And, they've got Westbrook. How's that experiment working out? Westbrook did not play, or he played well against Sacramento, but since then, not so well. But speaking of that game, trying to tie back my point, that's really propelled the Kings to some of the best basketball that they have played this season. Best 4-game stretch in a while. Grant and I on the post-game show, we were talking about it. And that Memphis or the Thunder game, even though it was close and the Thunder were within striking distance, there was not one time during the game that Fox was out that I ever thought the Kings were going to lose. And there's just a swag about them right now. And I'm really digging it. And hopefully it carries over tonight. It's really important that the Kings come out tonight and get off to a quick start. The Kings absolutely have to have a good first quarter. I'm not saying that they have to be up 10 at the end of the first quarter, but what I am saying is they need to be competitive. You don't want to let the Clippers hang around, especially with Kawhi not playing. What up, Vacaville? Vacaville in the house. Who else we got in the house? We got any international fans? I know Grant is international. So let us know where you're watching the pregame show from. Absolutely love having all of you here. So super, super exciting. Yeah, Mikal Bridges getting to shine in Brooklyn. He is. He's an interesting one. Brooklyn is going to be set up for the future for sure. Lincoln, what's going on? Thanks for joining us tonight. Really, really appreciate it. So, Modesto. All right. Paradise. Good to see you, Paradise. All right. So, let's talk a little bit about load management. So, Grant had his Listen App show earlier today, and people were talking about the load management. It's been an ongoing Idaho. I see you. Special ties to Idaho, Melissa, by the way. It's been an ongoing topic. How is this going to be handled in the NBA? And, it just doesn't make sense that somebody like Kawhi Leonard, who's only played, I believe, 38 games this season, can't play a back-to-back. And what's the NBA going to do about it? And the NBA does have a big problem on their hands. Your stars should be playing if they can play. But at the same time, Kawhi did do you consider 24 hours enough notice if you're a fan? I don't think a lot of people here in Sacramento were buying tickets to go see Kawhi Leonard play tonight, I think most of the people were coming to see the Kings because the Kings are on such a good streak right now. And they're first time they've been home since the Portland game. But that being said, you want to have a competitive game. You want to have a good product on the floor, whether it's your team or the visiting team. So I'm really torn on this. Kawhi has made it a point ever since his days in San Antonio, then to Toronto, and then with the negotiating with his contract in LA and with the teams that were pursuing him as a free agent, he wanted to make sure his load was going to be managed properly, right? So it's not a surprise Kawhi isn't playing. It's a little bit of a surprise that these things aren't tweaked, especially when you're on a slide, you've lost a few games in a row, you are trying to get a solid playoff spot, try to get a home court advantage at least in the first round, but it's the NBA. They have to do something. They absolutely have to do something. I don't know what that's going to be. I've thrown it out there. I think with analytics these days, teams can look at the schedule before the season and determine which games that their player or players may be sitting out. If, for whatever reason, that is a game that is important to the standings, or you have a couple injuries for your team and you need that guy to play, doesn't matter. That guy's out. Fans had advance notice already. They're not getting the short end of the stick, and that's just the way it is. But, there's a lot of counter arguments to that as well. So I guess Kawhi giving some notice, it's better than we've gotten from a lot of these guys in the past, but it's still really, really weird because, like Grant said many times, these guys in the 90s, the 80s, would they miss a game? Like, seriously. And they were playing more physical basketball back then. Last night, the Clippers and the Warriors each put up like over 40 threes. I think 40 or 50 threes. It was just a damn 3-point shootout. So, it's just a different time, different game as well. So, all right. Well, we're getting you closer and closer to tip off. Again, the Kings and the Clippers. Grant and I will be back at halftime, and we will be back after the game. And thank you so much again to everybody that's been tuning into the stream. Thank you to Grant for letting me fly the plane for a little bit. And a special thanks to everybody last Friday, that tuned in. We had 30,000 people live here on this stream. Super, super awesome. We love it. We can't wait to come on here with you and talk Kings basketball. You guys truly are the best fans in the NBA. So again, t-shirt over my shoulder. Keep checking back with us. I'm sure Grant will bring it up as we come on at halftime and after the game. We are literally this close to having that link up on his website. If you don't like that.com, we want to make the process really, really simple for you. We've gotten so much demand for the t-shirt that we just knew that was the best way to do it. So we will be giving you an update on that shortly. All right. You'll be watching the Clippers broadcast to watch your Kings from San Diego. My man. Yeah. I don't blame you. It's difficult to watch the Kings broadcast. It's frustrating. The Kings broadcast, it's full of excuses. It's sugar coated. Let's put it that way. And it's just hard to watch. So I wish I had the Clippers feed, but that's all right. I just have a mute button, so that works just as well. Hopefully they can get that cleaned up. There's no doubt about that. So again, De'Aaron Fox is back tonight. De'Aaron's going to be good to go. Really, really looking forward to having him back in the lineup. Yes, all of the NBA is hard to watch right now. There's no doubt about that. Grant brought this up. There are big negotiations that are going to be happening for the NBA's next TV deal. And there's significant issues, load management, one of which that we touched on, that need to be addressed in that, officiating challenges, just the product in general, right? Do there need to be any rule changes besides a possible second challenge if you get your first challenge right? Do they need to look at the 3-point line? Jerry Reynolds, great idea. He is maintained, and Grant asked him about this many years ago, and he said, take away the corner three. That'll solve your 3-point problem. The NBA has just turned into it's a perimeter game. That's the best way to put it. And you look at your big guys, right? Most all of them can shoot threes, and most all of them do shoot threes. So it's completely changed the way that the NBA is watched. It's changed the way the game is played. And it's changed the enjoyment of the game. That's for sure. I mean, seeing a 3-pointer go through, exciting. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the same as think about the Michael Jordan and Mitch Richmond matchups back in the day, where they were just going at each other on both ends of the court. They were just mid-range, posting up, occasional three. That for me as a basketball purist, that was the kind of stuff that I loved to watch. And you just don't see that anymore. And I mean, the All-Star game was a great example of that. Easily the worst All-Star game. If you don't like Ryan, you don't like NBA basketball. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's Grant's catchphrase though. So I've got to come up with a catchphrase. We'll get working on that. So is this a Ryan's rant? No, it is not. We're getting pretty close to tip off. So if you guys can put anything in the chat that tips my fancy, maybe, just maybe, you'll get a Ryan's rant. So anyways, again, De'Aaron Fox back tonight, Rashawn Holmes out. So we'll see. Give me your predictions for the game. Join us at halftime. Give us your predictions for the final score. What you think, how the game will finish. I see this one being closer than everybody's expecting. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. I think the Clippers have lost. They're on a losing streak. They have to win. This is the right time to hopefully get right, climb back up in the standings in the Western Conference, as I'm looking at what Russ Westbrook shooting free throws, Golden One center. They're going to come out firing, especially shorthanded. So the Kings got to take them just as serious as if Kawhi was on the floor. I agree with you, and that's what I'm saying. The Kings cannot mail this one in. They need to come out and play like they are playing the Clippers last Friday night, 100%. All right, we've got 120, 110 Kings. We got 119, 111. I'm assuming that's Kings. Let's see. We got 124, 115 Kings. Yeah. Anybody got the Kings over 130? Think we're going to get 130 tonight? Think Kings might put up a 150 burger? Who knows? Cool news. Not sure if you heard this. The Kings are going to have another national TV game on TNT against the Knicks on March 9th. So everybody's going to be pretty excited for that. The Knicks are playing great basketball right now. So that should be a really, really fun game. We've got Kings 123, 111. All right. Well, let's see. We'll give you one more. Everybody seems to have the Kings. Kings 176, 175. You wanted to make sure you get that t-shirt, right? Since nobody had it last game. Nice. All right. Well, we're going to be getting ready to wrap things up again. Grant and I will be back at halftime and after the game to do our shows as normal, wrap things up, break down the first half, and then always have a little fun. I'm sure if we push hard enough, we'll get a little Grant's rant Those are always fun. But I do want to remind you that the pregame show is brought to you by Bennett's Kitchen locations in Roseville and Sacramento. Soon to come, new location in Rockland at the Blue Oaks Town Center. If you have never been to Bennett's, Brian and his team are absolutely amazing. Amazing food, great service, great portions, great ambiance. They have prime steaks. They've got great seafood. We love the redfish. We love all the steaks. I like the hanger steak. Grant loves the porterhouse and the bone-in ribeye. And then check out brunch too. So again, Bennett's Kitchen, go check them out. Locations Roseville, Sacramento, and soon to come in Rockland. All right, well, we are just about there. The Kings are getting ready to tip off against the Clippers. Clippers without Paul George. Thank you all so much for joining me on the pregame show. Can't wait to see you all back at halftime and after the game. Enjoy the first half. So long.